Welcome back to Meme Reads, where today OP refuses to walk his bigoted daughter down the aisle. This post is from Mammoth Inside 2431. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter I will not be walking her down the aisle unless she invites her siblings and their family to her wedding? I'm a 56-year-old father with 5 kids. This is about 3 of them, Casey, Alex, and Tom. These are not their real names for obvious reasons. My daughter Casey is getting married this winter to her fiance Max, who she's been together with for about 4 years. I'm covering for a majority of the wedding expenses as Max's family lives in a different country, and with their currency exchange rate, they won't be able to afford the wedding and also pay to come here. I have no issues with it, and I just want my little girl to be happy. Last week while Casey was away, my children Alex and Tom came to visit with their families, and we were talking about wedding invitations. I was surprised to hear that they hadn't received their wedding invitations, so I thought Casey just hadn't sent them out to everyone yet, until my oldest and youngest daughters pointed out that they had already received their invitations with their kids and partners invited. I called my sister, who also said that Casey has invited their whole family to the wedding too and received theirs a while back, so I immediately saw red. Both Alex and Tom have husbands and children that are adopted, and it seems that Casey has excluded them because of their sexuality. It also seems weird since Casey has always been close to them and supported them as they came out as non-binary and gay respectively. I've called Casey and demanded an explanation. My daughter said that Max and his family don't feel comfortable with couples that are not traditional and go against their culture, and that she hopes for my understanding. I've told her if that's the case, I will not be walking her down the aisle, and I'll be pulling out for paying for the wedding, as she cannot exclude family like this as they did nothing wrong, and if her future in-laws' opinions are that important to her, then they can pay for the wedding. As a result, Casey called me a butthole and hung up on me crying. My children are on my side. My wife is torn as she understands where Casey comes from, but she agrees that she shouldn't have excluded her siblings like this. Quick edit, I just wanted to add something about my wife. When she says that she's torn and gets where Casey is coming from, it doesn't mean that she supports Casey's decision to exclude her siblings. She doesn't approve it in the slightest. However, as a mother of our children, she feels that there should be a place for all of her children if they need her or if they want to talk, even if she doesn't agree with their choices. She's still deeply hurt by what Casey said, as she adores Alex and Tom's husbands and their children. I definitely wanted to add this edit in because it shows that your wife is a beautiful person, and I feel like people might have been ragging on her in the comments. It's understandable that a mother could be torn by her child's actions. As a mother, I feel like it's your job to love your child unconditionally, even if they make mistakes. It's your job to guide them through those mistakes and try and make them a better person, and I feel like that's what your wife always tried to do. However, this isn't about your wife, so let's get on to the butthole score. Honestly, OP, I think you deserve a rock solid 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your daughter excluding her family from the wedding just because of their sexuality is absolutely disgusting in my opinion, and you have every right to be able to back out from paying for the wedding or even attending it if you want to. It is kind of her choice to invite whoever she wants to the wedding, but her bias in that is just uncalled for in my opinion. You were exactly right when you said it, OP. If your daughter wants to impress that side of the family so bad, then they can pay for the wedding. This post is from justAnAIThathrow. Am I the butthole for calling my sister-in-law and brother cheaters after my sister-in-law insulted both me and my wife? My wife and I are staying with my family at a beach house that we rented for 2 weeks. I should preface this by saying that frankly, I do not get along with my younger brother, let's call him Todd, and I do not like my sister-in-law Annie. That said, I am civil with them, and while I don't see them often, I do love my niece and nephews. Yesterday, my wife Alice and I were babysitting all of our nieces and nephews while my grandma napped and everyone else went to go see a movie. Now once we got here, Alice and I had baked cookies for everybody to eat. We baked them later in the evening, and Annie, who works as a personal trainer, told her kids that they couldn't have any. They were upset, of course, especially since their cousins were allowed to eat cookies, and Annie was insistent that they weren't allowed to have any at any time. She and Todd are generally quite strict with the kids' diets. None of them have any food allergies, and to my recollection, they've only been allowed a popsicle once this past week. While everyone was out, one of the kids asked Alice if they could have cookies, and so we gave them all some cookies to enjoy. When everybody comes home, Annie asked the kids what they did, and one of them mentioned that we gave them some cookies. She then told them to go play on the beach, where they were watched by my older brother and brother-in-law, and were joined by their cousins. Annie then proceeded to get very mad. She started off by saying that we shouldn't have given them cookies because she hadn't said that they could have them. Alice started to apologize and said we just wanted them to enjoy their vacation, but Annie interrupted her and told her, quote, "I don't trust a fatty with my kid's health." Now I was absolutely livid, and I told her to shut up. The argument spiraled from there, and at one point Annie said she would never trust 2 quote psychos with her kids. Alice and I met through a therapy group 11 years ago after we were discharged from a hospital for mental health concerns. Though I'd like to emphasize that we weren't in there for anything that would even imply that we put anybody else in danger. I then told her it was rich for 2 cheaters to think that they could ever raise morally healthy kids. Annie was originally Todd's best friend's wife, but the 2 of them had an affair, during which their oldest child was conceived, and then Annie and her husband had what sounds like a rather messy divorce. Then she started crying and left, and our family is a bit divided after this. I realized I was very harsh, but so was she. I don't think it was her place to dish out what she couldn't take, so am I being unreasonable here? To be honest, OP, the fact that all of this started over a freaking cookie is absolutely ridiculous to me, but I don't think this is just about a cookie. You even said it yourself that the resentment has been growing for a while. If you guys don't like each other, it'd be best to just leave each other alone, but no, you both seem like the type to just push each other a little bit until something happens. Your sister-in-law set a boundary with her kids. No matter how unreasonable you think it might be, it's not your place to tell her what to do with her kids. Unless she's depriving these kids of actual nutrition, you have no right to be able to just step in and tell them what they can and can't eat. So then after you crossed the line initially, she crossed the line back and said something that was super uncalled for, and then you guys went back and forth like children. If this was just about a small cookie situation, I feel like I could be a little bit more lenient. However, it's obviously not. It's the fact that you guys can't stand each other and you guys can't even put it aside for one freaking vacation. Everyone involved gets a 2.5 out of 5 buttholes from me.
Am I the butthole for ditching my girlfriend at a 5K because I wanted a better time? My girlfriend and I have been together for about 2 years now. We live together. About 9 months ago, I picked up running as a hobby and I have since grown quite fond of it. I currently run an average of 25 miles a week. A few months ago, I decided I wanted to try for a 5K or a 10K, and after some Google searching, I found a 5K in my city that looked really fun. I registered for it, paid the fee, and decided to start training specifically for it. I mentioned it in passing to my girlfriend that night, and she asked if she could come too. I was psyched about the idea of running a 5K with her and said yes, but warned her that she would probably want to start training because I was going to go for a sub 27-minute time, which might be tough for a complete beginner. She said that she would like to train with me, which again sounded fun. The next morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. for my run, as I usually do, but my girlfriend was not up for it and she told me that she'd go later. This continued for a week, and then 2 weeks, and finally, I managed to get her up for once for a run. She was miserable the entire time, and I basically didn't get any exercise. Last Friday, the day before the race, I asked if she was really up for it. She insisted that she was. She then told me that she would just skip gallop it, like she used to do with her mile runs in middle school. I asked her to demonstrate what a skip gallop was, and she showed me this bizarre sidestepping gallop as if she had casts on her legs. I told her that it seemed like a really inefficient way to run, but she insisted that it always worked for her. Saturday was the day of the race, and right out of the gate, she utilized her skip gallop strategy. 2 minutes in, and I realized that she was already completely gassed. She started asking me to wait so we could walk together. I apologized, told her that I loved her, and left her behind to finish the race. I ended up with a time of 26 minutes and 43 seconds, beating my goal. After the race, I tried calling her, but she wouldn't pick up. When I made my way back to the car, I realized that she had left me. I took an Uber home, and right when I walked in the door, I was met with cry shrieking about how I ditched her. I tried to calm her down and explain that she kind of brought it on herself, but she was not interested whatsoever. Yesterday, she gave me the silent treatment all day. Do I deserve what I'm getting here? OP, I don't think you're the butthole or deserve this kind of treatment at all. She kind of did bring this onto herself. This comment down at the bottom sums it up best. Not the butthole. She chose to invite herself. She chose not to prepare. And she chose to make a fool of herself with her crazy method of running. This is all on your girlfriend. And I'm glad that you had your phone and wallet and were able to get home after she abandoned you. Yeah, your girlfriend is crying about how you ditched her, but in reality, she's the one who ditched you. Yet she's still getting mad, even though she's the one who intruded herself on your activity in the first place. Anyways, OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes because I don't think you did anything wrong in this situation. Your girlfriend, on the other hand, gets 1 out of 5 buttholes because she's getting mad over nothing.
That was Meme Reads. If you enjoyed this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.